Welcome. I'm Natalie Haig, the chair of the Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce Political Action Committee, and I'm thrilled to welcome you today with Spencer Duncan for our Campaign Spotlight series. The Greater Topeka PAC is an entity that acts independent of the Chamber to endorse and support candidates who support the Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce vision for Topeka. The goal of this series is to help our audience, business leaders, residents, and voters get to know the candidates who are seeking elected office in our region. This summer, the PAC has had the opportunity to meet with several candidates running for office. A chamber candidate forum was held. We've reviewed voting records and evaluated the performance, and today we're excited to introduce you to one of the individuals who earned the PAC's endorsement. Welcome, Spencer. Let's begin with the basics.
All right.
So, what
Thank you
seat
for
are you?
having me. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Glad to have you here. And we just want to start with what is the seat you're aspiring to represent, and who do you hope to serve in that role?
Yeah, well, thank you again for letting me do this today. I am asking for everyone's vote to be the next mayor of Topeka. So I appreciate the support I've gotten so far. The mayor is the only elected official in our community who's actually elected by everybody. And so I think that's an important distinction from the rest of our council because it comes with that responsibility of being responsible for the whole community, not just one district or a particular area. I also think we have a little bit of a misconception that the mayor in our city is just the figurehead who cuts ribbons. That's a piece of it, absolutely. But our charter actually lays out a lot of different responsibilities. And I think the most important one that I've tried to get across to people is it's a key responsibility to make sure that our city manager and our staff are actually following through on the goals that the city council and the mayor set out on a regular basis. And so I think having a mayor in there who's making sure those changes are happening, as opposed to us just saying we're doing it, but having the mayor in there making sure that it's actually happening kind of moves the community forward a little bit and make sure that the issues that matter to citizens are at the forefront all the time.
You're right. It is a big role, and thank you. Tell us a bit about your background and your connection to the community. What inspires you to run?
Yeah, so I'm a Topeka native. I'm married to a Topeka native. We're raising our family here, and we're business owners in this city. So we're devoted. We're not going anywhere. We're here for the long haul. And this community is really filled with our friends, our family, and lots of people who have had huge impacts on our lives, through all these years. And so that's actually what inspires me to serve and to run. I want to be of service to a place that has meant so much to my life, to my wife's life, and to our family's life. And I tell people I expect everyone to hold me accountable as an elected official, but I can tell you that no one holds you more accountable than the kids, the not kids anymore, but the people who you went to school with when you were kids, and to your family who see you in this community on a regular basis. They'll hold me even more accountable than everybody else. And so I really do wake up every day not just wanting to not let everyone down, but I really don't want to let those people down who've had big impact on my life. So I really think that I know that that's a lot of trust that people put in me when I'm elected. And so I really am inspired by those folks, the citizens of Topeka. And I do believe that serving in local government is a public service on behalf of the citizens of Topeka.
You're so right. As you are out connecting with voters, what are the key issues you're hearing, and which ones of those are central to your campaign?
Yeah, so these probably won't surprise anybody. They're always at the talk of probably the same things everyone's thinking of who's watching this, but infrastructure, public safety, housing, property taxes, those are the big four that I get asked on a regular basis. Being the incumbent and on my second term on the council, I have a track record. I would like to think and do believe that it's a strong track record on these issues. And you can go to my website, duncanfortopeka.com, and you can actually see some initiatives that I've put out there to address these issues and my position on those issues. But I think it's important to note that these aren't just things that I thought up in the shower one morning. I spend a lot of time in the community talking to the citizens of Topeka to get their input, their knowledge, and their ideas. And I've tried to make sure that those are incorporated in these initiatives and in these issues. I am a firm believer in a bottom up, not a top down approach to government. And that means listening to the community, providing various groups and people and organizations an actual seat at the table, and then actually listening to the people who are experts in the field instead of me saying, well, this sounds like a great idea that I read on the internet, right? Listening to the people of the city. So that's an important role for the mayor to make sure that all those voices of the citizens are being heard in City Hall and then actually seep into the decisions we make in local government.
Yes, well, the chamber has appreciated your willingness to listen to issues as we have them arise. We also know that Topeka has had some real momentum in the last few years. What excites you about the progress we're making and the opportunities what opportunities do you see in the future?
Well, we really have seen growth when it comes to economic development and even creation of new opportunities for just quality of life as we've expanded parks and areas like Nodo and Discovery Center and expanded Gage Park's
Mhm.
footprint and all these various different things that bring people to Topeka. We're also starting to see a lot of movement as we've struggled for years, but finally see some movement on housing. And that's not just in the affordable housing arena, but in all housing across Topeka. And I think these three areas are key because they lead to actual growth. We have not seen much growth as a population for a few years. And these areas that we're seeing some impact positive on, they're going to lead to growth overall for the city, which we have to have. I think a real opportunity for us is we have got to keep young people in this community, which again is also a key to growth. I know we don't think of ourselves sometimes as a university town, but we kind of are. I mean, we have 5,000 students over at Washburn University. And if you talk to them while they're here, they'll tell you how much they love Topeka and what a great community is, but then they don't stay. A large percentage of them don't stick around. We're not able to keep them. And that's not just on the large campus, but that's at Washburn Tech. And so I really want to keep those folks and find programs to retain them. There have been some new programs implemented the last several years that are making headway there and some positive steps. So that's a real potential for growth in this community for the longevity. I don't mind everyone who's older. I'm getting older too, and we're important and critical. But I really also want to find a nice balance to keep the young folks here too.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, finally, let's start with voters needing to learn about you. So, there are a group of candidates running for mayor. Why you? What is the unique value, experience, perspective that you bring, setting you apart from the other candidates?
Well, as I mentioned, I am a native Topekan, but I think that's important because I know Topeka. I do understand our priorities. I understand people's needs. I know what their expectations are. And I know what's worked and not worked in this community. I have that historical knowledge as we've stepped through this stuff. I'm also the government affairs director for the League of Kansas Municipalities, which represents all the cities of Kansas. And one thing I've learned through that is we are a capital city, but I don't think we get enough support or credit for that from our other agencies, i.e., at the state of Kansas or even the federal government. And we need to tap into that a little bit more. And I think that's an important role for the mayor also. And then I work with cities all across Kansas, and I get to see what's working and try to bring that back to Topeka to say, why aren't we doing that? And I also get to see what's not working. And when we talk about it here, say, whoa, let's put on the brakes. Let me tell you the stories I've got from where it's other parts of the state. And then the last thing is, I am a parent. I've got a middle schooler, right? I understand we've got a lot of families in this community who are struggling for whether it's childcare or other needs, and I'm right there in the thick of it with them. And so I understand what they need and how to help that segment of our population.
Great. Thank you for these time and comments. We appreciate you sharing your vision with us today. And for those of you watching, if you want to learn more about the Greater Topeka PAC and how it operates, feel free to message through this page. This series is brought to you hoping that you will get a better understanding of the candidates we have endorsed as a Chamber PAC. This series is designed for that purpose, and we appreciate you joining. Again, thank you for joining this spotlight. And Spencer Duncan, thank you for joining us today. We are excited about Topeka's future and the leaders that are stepping up to shape it.
Thank you.